Well, this was supposed to have started 2 hours ago, but it takes a while to get all the images together and stuff. So, haven't done one of these in a while, so I'm going to do it now and talk about, DCU and MCU, mostly the movies, a couple of shows, and we'll get through it. And then the idea is that afterwards I was going to put them in individual clips that I could use later as separate videos. Hopefully I can get to that. Well, we'll see. So anyway, one of the things I did was this sort of thing. And you see, it's in the way. So I thought, like for the individual videos, I would go in and put this stuff in there later. Well, not going to be able to do that. I wanted to see if I could do it live, and so I did a bunch of them, had them ready to go, and would just it's not showing. Sorry, there, that's what I'm talking about. That'll be there, and during the art, it's still, I forgot about the stupid banner. Should I take it down? Yeah, I guess so. Which one is it? Well, it's both of them. So, does it just not? No, just don't do it. No, not that. There we go. No banner. So there you can see Superman's feet. But anyway, this will be the subject of the first article that I will deal with. And maybe this will work. I don't know. If I don't like it, I may just scrap it and not put any more of the other images up until maybe after. But anyway, that's the deal. Going to try this out. But all kinds of technical problems. The audio didn't work at all. Supposedly it's working now. Probably should check that. A lot of times EV Mux does screw me over, so I'd better make sure that is the case. Yes, so I can hear it's working. All right, there we go. We're all good. So maybe I'll take that out for the time being and get it up when I have the article ready to go. And so that's what I'm going to do. There we go. And won't that be nice? And fancy free and fruity fresh and all that good stuff. So we'll get to this first little story, which is just a blast from the past and what might have been type thing. But I don't know. It's still kind of interesting. Yeah. So here we go. Henry Cavill's Superman and Green Lantern projects were epic, says Christopher McQuarrie. Oh, were they? So there's Henry Cavill as Superman, and who's that? That's supposed to be Tom Cruise as I was going to say as Superman. No, as the Hal Jordan Green Lantern. That was rumored for quite a while, and it tossed about, and there was things going on between Warner Brothers and Tom Cruise. Some people thought, and they had him come out and say, wow, he really liked the Flash movie, and it seemed unlikely that he actually did. But for quite a while, and then that was the one where rumors that they were looking to do a Green Lantern film with Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, in which Hal Jordan would be an older Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart being the young recruit, and that the idea would be that Tom Cruise would play Hal Jordan and then probably not survive the end of the film or disappear or something of that nature, with Jon Stewart becoming the regular Green Lantern for the DCEU at the time, like for Justice League and stuff like that. But it didn't happen. Everything, fell by the wayside. There was supposed to be an HBO Max Green Lantern series that they were going to flood with money and stuff like that, but they couldn't include Hal Jordan and John Stewart because they wanted them for the movie franchise. So that's how that was being set up, and it all went away. Now, with the DCU, there's a new Lantern series on the way, currently filming, and same type of basic plot in that it's Hal Jordan and John Stewart. John Stewart is the new Lantern, and Hal Jordan is the old veteran Lantern. Looks like the templates of it, at least. Obviously, I think it'll be a very different story. I think the movie was supposed to be in outer space and all that stuff, whereas this will be in some small town. But anyway, in the midst of all of that, while Henry Cavill was working with director Christopher McQuarrie, on Mission Impossible, hey, something happened. So recently, while promoting Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, director Christopher McQuarrie finally opened up about his scrapped Superman and Green Lantern pitches for Warner Brothers projects that would have starred Henry Cavill, obviously for Superman. McQuarrie was once in serious talks to develop Man of Steel 2 and a Green Lantern film. See, two separate projects. I've seen a few others where people seem to think they would be in the same movie. And I don't know. Maybe Green Lantern would have been featured in Man of Steel 2. I don't know. But the main thing being that, no, these were two different films that McQuarrie would direct. So anyway, now years later, he reveals what might have been. So Warner Brothers passed on his pitches, and, that was that. So McQuarrie directed Henry Cavill in Mission Impossible Fallout. And, of course, Tom Cruise in the films. Rumors back then offered Tom Cruise was up to play Green Lantern. So it kind of fits. All this was happening at the same time with the same group. Seems likely that, they were looking at Tom Cruise to be Green Lantern. So anyway, while speaking with Josh Horowitz, McQuarrie wouldn't go into specific details about his pitch with Henry Cavill, but nonetheless, it sounded pretty awesome. Because he said, it was pretty awesome. But anyway, McQuarrie said his Superman story was good, and hinted at a huge and emotional, powerful opening sequence. So here's the quote. The first five. Oh, wait, let me check. Let's see. Yes, I did. Sorry. I had to take a little pause there. I'm always paranoid about all this. Anyway, the first 5 minutes of my Superman movie. Imagine a Pixar's Up sequence with no dialogue, after which you knew exactly what made Superman tick and exactly what Superman was most afraid of. It would have been epic. The scale of the movie would have been absolutely extraordinary. Now, it would be interesting if this was a Superman versus Brainiac story, and like the entirety of Metropolis, once again under threat, if Brainiac was actually going to steal the city by shrinking it down and that sort of thing. And Superman's got to go all out to save it and all that. And that, maybe that's, I don't know what villain he was up against. Brainiac has been long desired to be in a Superman movie. And the closest you get is Superman 3, which it's not really Brainiac at all, but nevertheless, it was on the mind at the time that they were working on it. But it didn't happen. And he's saying like the opening sequence really would have nailed the character of Superman. He added the story would have embraced hope and inspiration, echoing what made Richard Donner's take so iconic. However, perhaps taking a jab at James Gunn, I doubt it, but that's what people say. McQuarrie said it should be original. I don't think you need to live in the shadow of Donner's Superman. I don't think you need to live in the shadow of John Williams' score. But you do need to recognize that that movie captured better than any other the heart of that character. Well, yeah, that's the thing about it. It was complete, and it does cast a long shadow. And what can you do? Of course, in James Gunn's film, the John Williams theme song is obviously they're just going to reuse it. It sounds maybe they'll change it up a little here and there, but for the most part, that's what they're doing. And I mean, it's a hard one to beat, but still, you got to move beyond the shadow of that film. That film stands alone on its own. And of course, immediately there's going to be comparisons. But if you let it dominate you, it's probably going to mess you up. But as far as this is all timed and plotted to dump on James Gunn and Warner Brothers again, I'm sure he's not happy with Warner Brothers, showing him the door on this or whatever, denying it. However, I seem to recall some of this. They wanted him to work on projects, but they wanted him to do it their way or something like that. Maybe I'm forgetting. Maybe it was just the Green Lantern one. I don't know. But anyway, he didn't bring it up. This was the podcast asking him about it. He's promoting the Mission Impossible movie and all that. But, Superman's on the way. He said, hey, you had a shot at Superman once, right? And so he tells the story. Unless it's like behind the scenes, they all agreed to do this. But anyway, he also stressed Superman's greatest obstacle is himself, followed potentially by Green Lantern. So both, he said, the themes of, because both characters are so very powerful, you've got to find a weakness, or there's no stakes in the story. They're just fooling around and playing. There really never was any danger. So that's part of the idea of how do you write this character. So regarding Green Lantern, McQuarrie revealed that Green Lantern was the project first brought to him, and he revealed he cracked how to make it work, as all powerful characters like Green Lantern and Superman can be hard to write. Green Lantern's a tough one. The power is very challenging, and I cracked it. It was fun watching him learn how to use that power and giving that power a flaw so that it was not pure invincibility. Now, that's interesting. He's talking about a character who has to learn how to use the power. If it's Tom Cruise at his age, him playing a veteran Green Lantern at his age would work. It would make sense. But if he's just now learning how to do it, that doesn't really fit. It's possible he's referring to the Jon Stewart character, and it was all about him having to learn the power, and Green Lantern, Hal Jordan trying to teach him and all that, and it was a difficult relationship and all that kind of stuff. Perhaps that's what he's talking about. And it also just the power itself. You had to show what the weaknesses are in it, and he figured it out. So he said the core of the idea revolved around the ring's limited energy. The whole concept of Green Lantern is the ring has to be recharged. Yes, you have infinite power, but you only have so much battery life, and that can run out at inconvenient times. That, for me, solved the whole Green Lantern problem. How do you give that character tension and stakes? And also, how do you do it with Superman? Well, yes, it is true. You have to recharge the battery. It has a 24-hour lifespan, and you'd better be very aware of the time, because suddenly you got no power and you're out of space. You die. But also there is, it's only as good as the ring wielder's willpower. So if you break down a lantern's confidence or what have you, he can't make the ring work, that kind of thing. So there's possibilities there with Superman. Well, kryptonite, of course, but also same thing. If you make him doubt himself, if you threaten those he loves and he can't get to them, however, you've got this, this similar situation can play out there as well. So McQuarrie revealed that he and Henry Cavill were aligned on the story's emotional and thematic core. Henry had a take on that, and I suddenly realized how these two characters had amazing similarities, which also allowed for amazing conflict and an amazing universe-expanding resolution. Well, it didn't happen. Following WB passing on McQuarrie and Henry Cavill's DC vision, McQuarrie said, "Never again," adding at the time and now deleted tweets, "They have their own problems, and I sympathize." Boy, did they. They still do. Deeply. But after 25 years of, good Lord, of hearing no, even an idiot like me gets the message. I go where I'm valued. Yeah, what else are you going to do? So he finished up with Horowitz with, "It's all right there, guys. It's all right there. Just sitting there waiting for somebody to make." So saying his idea is better. Well, maybe some of these ideas, because like I said, I think it was supposed to be this scenario where it's these two, but I don't think it was supposed to be in some small town in middle America. I think it was supposed to be in outer space and all that type of stuff. As for Superman, I probably very different. And certainly, I don't know if Brainiac, there's a rumor Brainiac might be show up, but that's sort of, but I don't know. Anyway, James Gunn is now in charge of the DCU and recast Superman with David Cornsweet. The new movie is July 11th. Nathan Fillion is also playing Green Lantern Guy Gardner. Well, right. Likewise, Gunn put together a new Green Lantern TV series titled Lanterns, with Guy Chandler playing Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, and Aaron Pierre as John Stewart. Ulrich Thompson plays Sinestro. So it's some of the templates, and one wonders, are some of the templates from Macquarie's pitch in the Superman movie? Could be, considering it really looks like the Green Lantern stuff was repurposed there as well. So it's one of those stories of, oh, gee, what might have been, and they just kept passing on it, and for whatever reason, just didn't want to pursue it. It's a shame. Okie dokie. There are no comments, so I can move on to the next one. So it'll take a bit for me to get the next image. What was the next story? Oh, yeah, Constantine. So we'll do that one. Where did I put it? Oh, there he is. All right. He can go there. All right. Well, let me go ahead and hide him for now. We'll go for this image. Sorry, I had to take a little sippy poo. All right. So, yeah, this Constantine thing, which was announced at the time, did know that there was a DCU coming. And they had announced Henry Cavill was back as Superman. People were like, oh, wow, they're going to have Keanu Reeves be the DCEU Constantine, something like that, No. So, anyhow. Well, all right. Constantine 2 in trouble. Keanu Reeves battles studio over direction. Well, here we go again. It was announced likely to be an Elseworlds project, its own thing. He liked playing in the original movie, and he and the director wanted to reunite to do this, again. Even though it was an interesting film, but of course, this isn't Constantine, but well, things are what they are, and you look, if it's an okay film, then it's an okay film. Elseworlds, and then down the road, DCU can introduce their own Constantine, preferably with, I'm blanking on the guy's name who did it for the CW, and he was perfect. I mean, that's Constantine. Maybe the shows and stuff he was in weren't all that great, but yeah, it's a shame that they probably won't give him a shot at the role again for a DCU film or what have you, but that's how it goes. So Constantine 2 may finally be moving forward, but not without complications. While director Francis Lawrence recently said he and Keanu Reeves are super excited about the sequel, co-star Peter Stormare now claims there's tension behind the scenes and that Reeves isn't happy with the direction Warner Brothers wants to take. According to Stormare, the studio is pushing for over-the-top action and CGI spectacle, while Reeves wants something more grounded and closer in tone to the original 2005 cult hit. Now, that's interesting because I would have thought it might have been more of the opposite, that they just don't have enough money to spend on this, and if you keep it more grounded, as he says, and you could do almost like a basic horror movie without a whole lot of, flam and what have you. And it's more akin to the character study of Constantine and whatever evil he has to confront. But they want the opposite. They want all this expensive spectaculars and monsters and whatnot. Anyway, while recently speaking with The Direct, Stormare, who played Satan in the first film, said the following. Let's see what the devil says. It's a lot of back and forth because I think Keanu Reeves, which I know pretty good, is not so happy with the scripts and usually what comes out of the studios, because the first one wasn't that successful in the beginning. It became a sleeper and became a cult movie. And now it is one of the biggest cult movies ever. Is it? I can buy it as a cult following, but anyway. But to do a sequel, the studios want to have, cars flying in the air. They want to have people doing flip-flops and flip-flops and fighting action scenes, like this. Well, so that's not what I'm a little taken aback by it, because there's all these stories about the financial situation for Warner Brothers, and it's given as an excuse as to why there's been, if not just kind of bad marketing for Superman, very scant marketing for it. And he's like, geez, it's really important. They're putting a lot of hopes on it. It must be the money, And then here they're pushing, they want all this done, and it's going to cost more. Keanu himself is probably going to get a hefty check. So I don't know. You think he wants to do it smaller? Okay, you're our guy, but I don't know, according to this. And this guy's going to be in it. So it seems like there's, credibility to this story. So Stormer went on to explain that Reeves sees Constantine as a more spiritual film about demons and regular people, and doesn't want the sequel to become just another effects-heavy action flick. He said Reeves is proud of the character and has been fighting to keep the tone grounded and close to what made the original a cult classic. Akiva Goldsman is writing the Constantine 2 script. His track record is a mixed bag. Yeah. He's been behind critically acclaimed projects like A Beautiful Mind and Cinderella Man, but also wrote Batman and Robin and Transformers The Last Night. Well, so depending on which version of Goldsman shows up or how much the studio influences him, Constantine 2 could go either way. Released in 2005, Constantine starred Keanu Reeves as the chain-smoking exorcist and occult detective John Constantine, based on the character from DC Comics. While it opened to mixed reviews and modest box office numbers, the film slowly gained a cult following over the years, thanks to its dark tone, unique visuals, and standout performances from a cast that included Rachel Weisz, Tilda Swinton, Zaman Hansu, and Peter Stormare as one of the most memorable portrayals of Lucifer on screen. Though it deviated from the source material in some ways, most notably the main character, especially with Ray's American take on the traditionally British character. Fans have long praised the movie's gritty atmosphere and grounded approach to the supernatural, which is exactly the tone Reeves is reportedly fighting to preserve in the sequel. So there you go. If that's the only thing, I guess maybe they could compromise where there's some spectacular ending. But still, even that could take away from the tone that he actually wants. So, it's just odd, all the different stories, is that Warner Brothers is broke. They can't afford to do nothing. And in here, they're pushing to spend even more money on top of, paying Keanu Reeves to come back and play the role. But then again, that could be a more back-end deal that he's going to take the risk that he gets more out of the profit that the film could make. But if it doesn't, well, you're out, But either way, I don't know. It's just kind of odd. I would have thought they would want to. Okay, can you do it really cheap? I don't know. Strange. But anyway, that's what's going on for the Keanu Reeves Constantine. At some point, I imagine they'll reintroduce the character, provided this DCU thing works. But well, we'll see. We'll see. All right. Let me move on to our next exciting story. Oh yeah, this one. I probably should have kept Constantine after this one, but well, I don't know. I didn't think, and I feel just awful about the whole thing. Not really, but hey, we can pretend, Lanterns cast Laura Linney, possibly, as Carol Ferris, star Sapphire. Now, the guy, what's his name? Chris Mundy, I believe. Of course, he was the showrunner on Ozark. Or was he the showrunner, or he just wrote on it? Anyway, he's a showrunner for Lanterns. And, of course, she was in Ozark. So it's familiar with her within the age range of Kyle Chandler here. So this is one of those things would they shoot any flashbacks to their past? Will she actually be suited up as Star Sapphire? And will they de-age them to play that out? I don't know. I think it's only 8 or 10 episodes, if that. And so it's a lot to cram in because, again, I don't think Hal Jordan survives this show. Jon Stewart will. But, Anyway, let's get to the story. It's reported that the DCU Lantern series continues adding to its cast with actress Laura Linney, known for Ozark, who just may be playing Carol Ferris from the comics, a.k.a. Star Sapphire. The info comes via Jeff Snyder. No specific details are known, other than she's been cast. The casting makes sense, as Lanterns and Ozark share showrunner Chris Mundy. Yeah, right. So there's Star Sapphire. I doubt she'll be in this outfit. But I don't know, maybe something similar. Anyway, if Laura Linney is indeed playing Carol Ferris, and probably more than likely she'll just be Carol Ferris and not Star Sapphire. Yeah. So she'll be Carol Ferris in Lanterns. She could very well already have her Star Sapphire powers, which is love from the emotional spectrum. Green is willpower. Yellow is fear. Red is rage. So on. Kyle Chandler is playing an older version of Hal Jordan. So would Linney with Ferris. No, she would not be playing an older Hal Jordan. She would be playing an older Ferris. So that's the thing. I'm wondering would they de-age both actors to show them in the past and have a scene where she's in the suit and that sort of thing. Carol Ferris was the daughter of I forget their father's name, Ferris, obviously, but it sort of inherited control of the Ferris Aircraft Company, which Hal Jordan becomes a test pilot for. And the two of them, a romance strikes up between them off and on and this sort of thing. Eventually, she gets the Starfire powers. Originally was something of a villain, but it's kind of like a Catwoman, Batwoman type thing. I mean, Catwoman, Batman thing. And that sort of stuff. And now, basically, Star Sapphire is another superhero. But all of that would be in the past. The good thing is, if this is true, the bad part is you don't get a whole lot of Hal Jordan stories if they're just going to kill him off. But they're not going to just slap on Hal Jordan stories on top of Jon Stewart, which they basically, Carol Ferris would be Jon Stewart's girlfriend, and they would cast a younger actress and all that. So anyway, regarding Star Sapphire, we can guess that since Ferris is older, they may have already passed a lot of history from the comics where Star Sapphire starts off as a villain. Later on in the comics, Ferris retains her Star Sapphire ring and helps Hal and other lanterns. It has also been said Kelly MacDonald's Sheriff Carey is playing the love interest of Chandler's Hal Jordan. If that is also the case, that would mean Carol and Harold are estranged. Since Carol is said to be appearing in the series, that likely will also lead to tension between all three. Some meow meow. In the comic, Star Sapphire also battles Sinestro, who's being played by Ulrich Thompson in Lanterns. Yeah. So anyway, release date for Lanterns hasn't been announced as of yet, but the series is expected to premiere in early 2026. Lanterns will 8 episodes. Only 8 episodes in there. All this stuff. I don't know. And of course, reminding us of the bad news. Damon Lindelof and Tom King are also co-writing and executive producing. That's really bad. Really bad. The only hope is that Mundy is more in charge. But I don't know. So the official description offers that the series follows new recruit John Stewart, Aaron Pierre, and Lantern legend Hal Jordan, 2 intergalactic cops drawn into a dark, Earth-based mystery as they investigate a murder in the American heartland. What is this? Monday. All right. Our lanterns have the rings and all the power they bring. And other characters and aspects of the lore are going to show up or be name-checked. Oh, okay. But it's a series that explores who these guys are when they're on the job and when they're out of uniform. Probably a lot of that. Walking around town, having an affair, stuff like that. And then a few scenes of them as, superheroes. Anyway, it's designed to be accessible for people who don't know the mythology. But hopefully really satisfying for people that know it backwards and forwards, Mundy said. He added, "We're not part of a larger storytelling plan right now. Season 1 is designed to be its own complete season of television that hopefully will become many seasons of television." See, a lot of thoughts was they're going to discover this terrible horror in there and that it would lead into the greater story of the DCU. But with a comment like that, I guess not. I don't know. But anyway, if Carol Ferris is going to be in there and they pretty much have all the other cast members announced, then odds are Lenny's going to be Carol. Yeah. But then again, maybe not. Don't want to spoil the surprise. That's just my drawing of the two characters. I have no idea what they'll look like, but since I saw the jacket sort of wearing outfits from Hawk Girl and Green Lantern on the Superman movie, I just assumed probably be something like that. But yeah, I don't really know. Anyway, we'll see what happens, as is true with everything when it comes to TV shows and movies. Okay, what's up next in the hopper? Oh, yes, this thing. Back to Superman. Let me go grab the image that I put for that. All right, I'll put it over when I can. But first, Brainiac teased again for James Gunn's Superman, the Thanos level threat. Well, he could be. He could be. Yeah. Oops. There, don't worry. I'll fix all this in the edit for the separate video. It'll be much better then. Brainiac is once again teased for James Gunn's Superman movie, and actually could be the glue that binds together the DCU, much like Thanos and the Infinity Stones with the MCU's Phase 1 through 3. The latest tease for Brainiac comes again from Humberto Gonzalez, who used to drop mad scoops and now writes for The Wrap. Gonzalez previously teased Brainiac and Gunn's Superman a year ago, and now does so again with an image from the comics posted to X with the eyes emoji. Uh-huh. Well, that's it. I mean, okay. A year ago, also saw Scooper Daniel RPK claim Brainiac is indeed in Superman, and reportedly even added the info to his confirmed section on his Patreon account. A leaker on Reddit also claimed to have seen concept art featuring a Brainiac drone and described it as... Oh, here's a fun one. I'm seeing concept art for what appears to be a Brainiac drone. Now, this doesn't outright confirm that Brainiac is in the movie, but it at least has some sort of presence. The drone's appearance is nothing of note, just a generic gray robot with green highlights. The reason I'm led to believe it's a Brainiac drone is because it features Brainiac's signature headpiece thing on his forehead. So yeah, interesting stuff. I previously threw out there that Dave Bautista could be playing Brainiac, who, of course, played Drax in Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy films and Marvel. I really don't see him in the role at all. Let's so maybe it's someone like Mongol or something like that, but Brainiac. What's also interesting is that Gunn recently teased a big surprise role for Superman. That's not all. As interestingly enough, the recently canceled Superman and Lois TV series had plans to use Brainiac. The series was canceled with the arrival of Gunn's new Man of Steel movie, just in time. Gunn has also said something to the effect that there is a big bad that connects the DCU, or at least some sort of storyline. Maybe Brainiac is the big bad behind it all, including Lanterns, where Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart investigate a mystery in the heartland of America. Well, not according to Monday. He talked about this and says it doesn't. So, at least not connected to the overall story at the moment. Anyway, it's worth questioning. What would require the involvement of Green Lanterns? Well, yeah, that's true. Of course, Supergirl also has a long history with Brainiac, and the Supergirl movie is in development. In fact, Brainiac has battled Supergirl numerous times in the comics, often threatening Kryptonian legacies and Earth alike. If he's the main villain across multiple DCU projects, Superman, Lanterns, and possibly Supergirl, he could truly be the Thanos-level threat of Gunn's new universe. Well, Superman will be released on July 11th. Lanterns is early 2026. Supergirl gets released on June 26, 2026. So, there you go. See, it would have been really cool had they allowed Henry Cavill to have his Superman sequel. It should have been his Superman up against Brainiac. And since they'd already established Darkseid as their big, Thanos level character, Darkseid inspired Thanos level of villain, then it would have been a cool thing of Superman battles Brainiac, ultimately wins, but then Brainiac explains why he was coming to the Earth, because it's a doomed planet. He knew Krypton was doomed. That's why he went there to steal Kandor. And Superman is convinced, I've beaten you, you're defeated. He says, I'm not talking about me. I wasn't going to destroy the Earth, but he will. Something of that thing. And then Superman might dawn on him like, oh crap, he's talking about Darkseid. And it sets up the future Justice League film for where they have to take him on, that kind of thing. But alas, it was not to be. So since Darkseid was already set up to be the big bad of the failed DCEU, they'll probably not utilize him anytime soon. But Brainiac could easily be a worldwide level threat. So Not that he's going to be the main villain. Obviously, Lex Luthor is in the film, but telltale signs of his presence and involvement and whatnot. I kind of thought maybe they would fuse the engineer story with Brainiac technology and stuff like that. And so it could be something akin to that. And so, you know, little teases of potential future films that would involve, well, Brainiac. And of course, Supergirl being involved is important because she was there when Kandor got stolen. And that also could have fit into the Henry Cavill movie with Sasha Calle having been introduced, and and then having her be with Superman and explaining who Brainiac was. And they'd already set it up where Lois was having Superman's baby, and so Supergirl's kind of like the babysitter and all this stuff. And then Lois and the baby get abducted along with Metropolis, and that whole thing could have played out. But again, 'twas not to be. However, Brainiac still may show up in the new DCU. It's more than likely if the DCU succeed, but there may already be teases in the movie. Yeah, I think that about wraps up that story. All righty. Yay. Let me see. So I guess that's it for DCU. So now we'll go over to the MCU. Oh, yeah, this was the image I prepared. Okay. Avengers Doomsday Leak. Deadpool, Sentinels, more from Disney presentation. Really? Well, let's take a look. Thanks to that official Disney blockbuster consumer products presentation, we get new leaks about Avengers Doomsday, where it's claimed that Ryan Reynolds is back as Deadpool, and lots more. Well, no surprise there. I mean, it'd be really stupid not to have him in there. Besides, everyone else is. The Disney blockbuster consumer products presentation is also said to have shown off an Avengers Doomsday sizzle reel. Really? I mean, they were setting up, there was leaks of the set and stuff like that, and I guess they must have shot something, but they've had to delay the production. I mean, delay the release date. So, anyway, as well as revealed the main villain of Spider-Man Brand New Day with mention of additional villains. Well, how about that? Assuming all this is true, yeah, we're heading into spoiler territory. But worth a mention is that two independent sources have confirmed the Disney blockbuster consumer products presentation actually happened, including Chris Gore, not Core, of Film Threat. And no, I guess it was on Nerdrotic's channel when he said it. But anyway, regarding why the Disney blockbuster consumer products presentation would be dropping all these bombs, I can only come to the conclusion that they want to really hype these upcoming MCU projects, as the MCU has been suffering big time as of late. Certainly, they would know the info would get out. Hi, Doom. The latest Avengers Doomsday leaks come via the Instagram account that first revealed that the three villains were Spider-Man Brand New Day, and then most recently the claim of the main villain. A user on Reddit posted screenshots of what is claimed to be DMs with the Instagram user about the Disney blockbuster consumer products presentation. The Instagram user provided spoilers shown for Avengers Doomsday with mention of Deadpool, so that would mean Ryan Reynolds is back as the Merc with a mouth, while Marvel only confirmed 27 actors and characters for Doomsday. Following the announcement, both the Marvel Studios and social media account and Robert Downey Jr. teased additional announcements. Rumors offer there will be upwards of 60 characters. I mean, like one of the complaints about the Superman movie is that it's cluttered. Not really, not compared to this. Is this going to be like Zack Snyder with a 4-hour movie? I don't know. From the DMs from the IG user or Instagram, Doomsday will feature the new Avengers, the Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and original Sony X-Men actors in comic accurate costumes. Oh, wow. So Ian McKellen will be in the red tights and everything. I mean, we've already seen Wolverine with the mask and all that, so I guess they'll do that again, Anyway, story will start off in, but Storm in the, wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Anyway, story will start off in Wakanda. Namor and Manape have new costumes. Well, that's nice. Doom will have Sentinels. Like the ones that was in the Days of Future Past. Maybe, I don't know. There was a sketch of Shuri in a Black Panther costume. Not sure how different it is. Amazing picture of the Sentinels attacking the X-Mansion with Shang-Chi, Invisible Woman, the X-Men with Gambit, and Deadpool fighting them. Wow. But I wonder, there was... at one time, because they were going to cross over Fantastic Four with the X-Men, and they just never got around to it. Is this Vanessa Kirby? Well, Shang-Chi's there, so I guess it is Vanessa Kirby's Invisible Woman. They're not going to use preview like Alba, or Kate Mara. I'm guessing. Anyway, whatever. Presently, only 2 people have come out with details from the Disney Blockbuster Consumer Products presentation. I also believe the Instagram user deleted their posts. And some of the above could be concept art. So how much actually makes its way into the MCU remains to be seen. That's true. Doesn't mean the concept art isn't legitimate. It's just ideas they were pitching and whatnot that they had hoped to do. And then they changed direction. And with the case of Marvel, they'll be changing direction right up to the day before the release. They're reshoot crazy over there. So Marvel Studios announced the release dates have been pushed back, with Avengers Doomsday moved from May 1st to December 18th, 2026. Avengers Secret Wars is moving from May 7th to December 17th, 2027. With the Russos directing, and everybody's in it. So, I don't know. But yeah, Deadpool being in there, that's a no-brainer. And what the deal, multiverse shenanigans will ensue from the get-go. And so that can involve Shang-Chi and Invisible Woman fighting alongside the X-Men against the Sentinels, I guess. And that sort of thing. Probably akin to the plot that they were going to do with Kang, but now it's Doctor Doom. And they just don't have the time to set it up as they had intended. But, well, that's the way it goes. Well, I mean, of course, realistically, you need to make the movies stand more on their own. But lately... hasn't been a lot of that, Oh, well, good luck with that. All righty, moving right along. Of course, the big kahuna. Spider-Man. And this will take 2 articles. Where are you, Spider-Man? There you are. Okay. There it is. Ta-da. Okay. Spider-Man 4 leaks include Savage Hulk as main villain. Yeah, that's a story they should have done something about a long time now, but they did She-Hulk instead. Anyway, we get a new batch of leaks out about Spider-Man 4, again claimed from the recent Disney Blockbuster Consumer Products presentation. Previously, 3 villains were said to have been named at the event, with Scorpion, Boomerang, and Tombstone. And I thought Mr. Negative would be in it too. Maybe not. At least with Scorpion, he's the guy that becomes the Scorpion has already appeared in the Spider-Man movies. Anyway, now it's claimed that a fourth villain and the main villain were named at the Disney Blockbuster Consumer Products presentation. It's also claimed that the Savage Hulk will make his long-awaited return in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Update. John Bernthal is said to be starring in Spider-Man 4 as the Punisher. Good Lord. They really are cluttering up the movies now, you know? But they got to make up for lost time that they wasted on crap, you know? Yeah. More on the Punisher later. But anyway, the info has surfaced on Reddit from a user who claims they DM'd the Instagram account of a person who revealed the info of the Disney. Yeah, inside story. Worth a mention is that the Disney Blockbuster Consumer Products presentation was verified as actually happening by Chris Gore on with Nerdrotic. So update. Additional Avengers Doomsday. Okay, that's now I got to redo this. All right. Yeah, the Savage Hulk will be in there, possibly be the main villain. Regarding Spider-Man Fall, according to the DMs, the fourth villain featured in Spider-Man Brand New Day is Tarantula. Good Lord, it's a lot. The Instagram user also revealed the main villain of Spider-Man Savage Hulk, Tombstone. Okay, so that's the actual code of it. Tombstone, Scorpion, Boomerang. Confirmed by additional pictures along with Tarantula. It's probably like a gang of them, not quite Sinister Six, but something like that. But then the problem becomes the Hulk. So anyway, so as of now, there are actually 6 rumored villains for Spider-Man Brand New Day: Scorpion, Boomerang, Tombstone, Tarantula, with Savage Hulk as the main villain. And a previous rumor said Lady Chameleon. That's right, Lady Chameleon was also along with Mr. Negative. I don't know. I mean, they're in for 5 minutes. Spider-Man catches them, something like that, and that's it. Plus, the Black Cat's supposed to be in it, I think. I don't know. Update. Numerous confirmations are coming via social media. Savage Hulk is indeed the main villain of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Yeah, this is the last we saw Hulk. Oof. If the info is indeed legit, that means Mark Ruffalo will also be starring in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Of course, you could just do a CGI Hulk and leave him out of it. So yeah, it was last we saw him was in the crappy She-Hulk show. How and why the Savage Hulk returns remains to be seen, but it's safe to say the comeback is most welcome. Yeah, it would be great. So Brand New Day is directed by Shang-Chi's Destin Daniel Cretton, joining Tom Holland, Zendaya, and Jacob Batalon, and new to the cast, Sadie Sink and Lisa Colin Zayas. I think Zayas is the Lady Chameleon character. Sadie Sink, which with the red hair, people thought, oh, she's going to be the real Mary Jane. But they might just dye her hair blonde and have her be the Black Cat. I don't know. The plot follows the events of No Way Home, where everybody has forgotten about Peter Parker. Yeah. The Hulk, it's a sad thing because the She-Hulk, they allowed it. You can have the comedy in it. And of course, fourth wall breaking. They were so sure they could do the Deadpool treatment with She-Hulk because of how John Byrne handled the character in her own series and stuff like that. But a Hulk series would have been so much better. She-Hulk should have been introduced in that, and then get someone more competent to do you got to have some serious superheroics in it. The comedy can be in there, but you really got to rein that in. It's devastated alongside wokeness, the MCU. So even though She-Hulk became more of a comedic story in her own right, it also differentiated her from the tragedy that is the Incredible Hulk. But it would have been more interesting had he's losing control. He had gotten this control, but he's starting to lose it. And it becomes this tragic story where Jennifer tries to help him and she can't. she ends up with Hulk powers, and she's got what he wants. She has total control of herself as She-Hulk. But he's lost and goes back on the run and that sort of thing, and you leave it at that, only for him to reappear in Spider-Man once again as the threat people would perceive him as. But they didn't do it that way, so let's just pretend something like that happened, and perhaps the Spider-Man movie will still do well with this sort of sad adversary that he really doesn't want to be up against, but has to, that kind of thing. Plus, it's the Hulk. It's going to be a real tough battle there for Spider-Man. Whoops. All right. Oh, I need to keep that up there. Yeah, that's what I need to do. I need to move on. Pardon me, backroom stuff, you understand. Okay, we'll move on to this one. Yeah, it's there. All right, yeah. That'll work. Meanwhile, as mentioned, John Bernthal will be the Punisher in Spider-Man. And of course, it makes sense because despite the fact that Spider-Man is, super powered and out beyond, as far as power goes, the league, certainly of Punisher and Daredevil, but he does exist in the same world, has some of the same villains, and that street level crime he often deals with. And they do cross paths. In fact, Punisher was introduced originally in Spider-Man as well as Kingpin. So, but a lot of ways became more of a Daredevil character. And of course, Punisher went on to be his own thing. But anyway, so big news via Nerdrotic that John Bernthal is joining Spider-Man 4 as who? The Punisher. Who else? Anyway, of course, he's already reprised the role in Daredevil Born Again. And just like Daredevil was completely wasted in that crap show. And it was sad to see. But they had some crappy version of it. They tried to polish that turd. They failed. So that's what happens when you do something like that. So Bernthal is also currently developing a spin-off special from the Daredevil Born Again series. And in no coincidence, Marvel Comics recently announced they are bringing back Frank Castle as the Punisher after canceling the character a couple of years ago due to Marvel's woke politics. Yeah, that's what wokeness does. Destroy. So the news about John Bernthal appearing as the Punisher in Spider-Man Brand New Day comes from Gary Beekler on his Nerdrotic YouTube channel during an interview with legendary comic creator Mark Millar, who was promoting his new creator-owned comic Psychic Sam, which is also being adapted into a movie. Millar goes on how he was going to do big projects for DC and Marvel, but instead opted to re-team with legendary artist John Romita Jr. on a new creator-owned project. Well, that's Marvel and DC's loss, but what are you going to do? Millar says that as of late, there has been a void in comics regarding certain types of characters. Ain't that the truth? And points to how Marvel Comics changed their Punisher. So he came up with the idea for a similar type of character, Psychic Sam, which he said in his email newsletter is Death Wish meets Minority Report. Oh, so he can see the crimes coming in the future, and he goes and just, I guess, blows the criminals away like Punisher. So while discussing the project and pop culture, Beekler says that the Hulk will be in Spider-Man 4, which dropped on Monday. Beekler and Millar discuss how they don't want Mark Ruffalo's goofy, smart Hulk in the movie. Millar says he hopes it's similar to the John Buscema Hulk, running wild from the comics and not Ruffalo talking about the environment. Beekler adds that he hopes Ruffalo doesn't appear at all. And yeah, exactly. I agree with that. He appeared. They just used the CGI Savage Hulk the entire time. Yes, that would be better. Just do that, And the voice, AI, Beekler then drops the bomb that the Punisher will be in Spider-Man 4. So the quote is, Punisher's going to be in that too. That hasn't been announced yet. Update. John Roca on the hot mic back in January also said Spider-Man and the Punisher would be battling the Hulk. Oh, wow. So this is actually old news. It said Marvel wants to get away from the smart Hulk and move to the rampaging Savage Hulk. Now, I do remember hearing things like that. And I thought he might have an appearance in Brave New World, which it's kind of his movie. All his villains are in it, you know, and then he loses control and becomes the Hulk, and you can leave it like that, you know, but stupid MCU. They didn't do it. Anyway, at the time, Jeff Snyder also added, it seems as if Marvel is moving toward World War Hulk in the MCU, which has been rumored for some time. Yeah, but they hinted at that in She-Hulk with his son showing up and all that. It's best to just pretend that never happened. But World War Hulk, you know, he was shot into space by Iron Man. And that's how he ended up on that planet. And then he comes back for revenge, primarily against Iron Man and the other heroes he feels wronged him. So I don't know. Don't know. Anyway, regarding the Savage Hulk, it recently became known that from the Disney Blockbuster Consumer Products and Presentation that the Savage Hulk will be the main villain. Alongside Scorpion, Boomerang, Tombstone, Lady Queen. So there we go. So perhaps, well, not perhaps, it's looking all but likely, but it's a really cluttered film. There's a lot of villains in it. And then the Hulk becomes the main thing. Or is this like Red Hulk and Brand New Day? No, in Brave New World. That would be very disappointing. But then I guess it works as a setup for the Hulk's own film, perhaps. But they're running out of time because they're about to reboot everything. So I don't know. Are they just getting the Hulk all stupid and savage for the purposes of Doomsday and Secret Wars? So perhaps that's what they're doing. It is of some interest in the original Secret Wars. Of course, the Hulk had his intelligence. Basically, Banner was in control, but he was showing the signs there that he was starting to lose it, and going back to his old self. And eventually, he did. So, but they're going to be more akin to the Hickman version rather than the Jim Shooter version. But I'm assuming they'll combine the two in somewhat. So he'll probably already be, Savage Hulk. And maybe he'll get his piece at the end before they reboot the whole thing. But what have you? Boy, they squandered a lot of time because the whole tragedy element of the Hulk, they only explored one movie and a little bit in some of the Avengers. They really needed to explore it further, and it should have worked, but they didn't. They didn't. But you'll get some of that apparently in Spider-Man. All right. So there we go. We'll move along to the Vision. Is there a vision for the Vision? Yeah, there is, but, overall, I don't know. I'll have to watch it and find out. Yeah. There he is. As we last saw him from WandaVision. Okay. Marvel's Vision leaks. No, not their overall vision. The Vision himself. Leaks the plot. Androids, AIs, and Edith. What's Archie gonna say? As Marvel continues developing the Vision series for DP, thanks to casting calls and production details, info is starting to leak online. Following the confirmation that Tania, is it Tania or Tania? Or is the T silent? Anyway, Miller has been cast as Jocasta. More on that later. Now, new info offers up that the Vision series will feature androids. Makes sense. He's an android. So there's going to be more, like, Jocasta. AIs and Edith. Well, AIs make sense because essentially they're all AIs, just inside android bodies. So Edith, yes, this also potentially gives us big plot clues. So probably spoilers and whatnot. Now it says recall, but I hadn't heard this, that David Spader is returning. So Ultron will be in the series, where it said it's rumored he returns in human form for some reason. Well, apparently the reason he could be in human form is that there are human versions of MCU androids and AIs appearing in the series. So he's an android, but he just looks like David Spader. David Spader. I thought it was James Spader. I think he messed up there, huh? Yeah. Anyway, the latest is the latest is again via Daniel RPK, who first said Tanaya Miller has been cast as Jocasta. So this is the later. Okay. Anyway, now the scooper says that several human versions of MCU androids and AIs. All right. Daniel RPK adds that Emily Hampshire, I'm not familiar, The Rig, Schitt's Creek, is set to portray the physical embodiment of Edith in Vision. Update. It also says Carrie Condon is playing Friday from Robinson Crusoe. Update. James Darcy is said to be back as Edwin Jarvis. Okay. Let's see. What's this say? Okay, it's Emily. All right. Well, thanks, Emily. Edith, which stands for Even Dead, I'm the Hero. That's what that is. Well, Edith is an advanced artificial intelligence created by Tony Stark in the MCU, introduced in Spider-Man Far From Home. The system is embedded in a pair of high-tech glasses that Stark leaves to Peter Parker. Edith gives its user control over a global network of Stark satellites and drones, offering powerful surveillance, hacking capabilities, and access to advanced weaponry. While Peter initially uses Edith to help on his journey, the AI is later exploited by Mysterio, which is why it was a mistake to leave it to this young kid, So according to the rumor, Edith becomes a humanoid android in the Vision series. Oh. The plot. We don't know the actual plot, but via the recent casting and rumors, we can piece things together, which seems to be a modern take on the question of artificial intelligence. Based on the leaked details and rumors, the Vision series for DP appears to center around a mysterious development where several artificial intelligences and androids from the MCU, like Ultron and Edith, are being given human or humanoid forms. Is it Dr. Doom doing it? Tanaya Miller has been cast as Jocasta, another AI from Marvel lore, while Emily Hampshire is reportedly playing the physical embodiment of Edith. James Spader, that's right, James, is also said to return as Ultron, possibly in human form, hinting at a larger plot involving someone or something transforming AIs into living human-like beings. The series looks to explore themes of identity, consciousness, and what it means to be alive, which happens to come in the wake of what happened in WandaVision, where the White Vision, rebuilt by Sword, gained the original Vision's memories and disappeared. Again, it all syncs up with what is going on with AI in the real world. AI is taking over, which will be really funny when the opening credits and stuff will be all AI. Now, with multiple AIs potentially getting physical forms, it raises the question, is Vision behind it all? Or is someone else trying to reshape AI life in the MCU? Well, it'll probably appear to be Ultron doing it, and then suddenly it was Dr. Doom all along. Or maybe it was Jocasta. Could be. You don't know. Let's take a look. So, hey, remember her? She was what they first introduced that Time Lords could regenerate from men to women. Yeah, that was her. Anyway, Marvel Vision series has found its Jocasta, with actress Tanaya Miller cast in the starring role. And interestingly enough, the original Jocasta in comic books was based on Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp, But they never really cast her. They cast her daughter instead of the movies. And then later on, Michelle Pfeiffer played her after being stuck in the quantum realm. So, but I guess since Hank Pym isn't making, he created Ultron in the comics. So they did Tony Stark creates Ultron. So I don't know. For some reason, Jocasta is based on her. Or maybe she'll be some tech person that Ultron manipulates, and that's how it happens. I don't know. Anyway, according to the trade, she's believed to be playing one of the leads opposite Paul Bettany, as the titular character. It's also been said James Spader. Yeah, we know that. And so there's some concept art of Jocasta. Yeah, but a lot of Ultron influence there, So it's like one of these things Ultron wants his bride. So if she takes human form, it'll just be her, I guess. I don't know. So, yeah, in the comics, Jocasta is created to be the wife of Ultron. There you go. Where Jocasta is built from the brainwaves of Janet Van Dyne. Well, not happening this time. What they do with the version in the MCU remains to be seen. Following the concept art leaking, which was initially thought to be for Avengers Doomsday, it's probably going to have some setup for Doomsday at this point, It was actually thought that Jocasta would be the female Ultron. Yeah. Oh, what's this? Well, it's just her. Maybe is that her costume for for Jocasta? So who is Tanaya Miller? Well, Tanaya Miller is an LGBTQT plus pro-Palestinian actress. Well, nobody's perfect. She's known for Gangs of London, The Haunting of Bly Manor. Oh, that's right. Yeah, she was in that. Yeah. Not a bad show. Not as good as Haunting of Hill House. But not bad. Not too bad. La Fortunata didn't see it. Foundation didn't see it. Fall of House of Usher. That's right. She was in that too. That was pretty good. That wasn't bad. And she played the female general in an episode of Doctor Who. That's right. He was originally a man and he regenerated into her. But the interesting thing about that, she said that she had that was the only time she had been a man. So she was normally a woman. She says, well, back to form or, back to normal or whatever. She said something like that. See, I think Moffat was trying to, put up some buffers and barriers to that concept, but they didn't care. They didn't. Anyway, it's the whole other story. Anyway, Vision or Vision Quest is said to take place following the events of WandaVision, where the Vision is trying to regain his memory and humanity. The last time we saw Vision was at the end of WandaVision. Scarlet Witch had recreated Vision in the series as her husband and the father of her children within her magical reality, where she tortured an entire town. Meanwhile, S.W.O.R.D. reassembled Vision's original dead body to create a new white Vision with the intention of neutralizing Wanda's creation. In the finale, the two Visions engaged in a battle, but eventually reached a mutual understanding. Wanda's Vision transferred his memories to White Vision, which means he's basically resurrected at this point. He's just data, who then recognized himself as the true Vision and flew away, leaving his future uncertain. It's unknown what the DP series is exactly about and how James Spader's Ultron and Tanaya Miller's Jocasta fits. Well, if she's kind of playing herself, then she's not going to be into Ultron, Last we saw of James Spader's Ultron was in Avengers Age of Ultron when Vision destroyed Ultron's last remaining body. Yeah, they do that in the comics too. It never works. He always comes back. So the two were having a conversation about humanity. So they'll probably utilize that footage, in the series. With Vision being more sympathetic to the humans while Ultron was more in contempt of the humans. Maybe the Vision creates Jocasta to be his wife and it backfires, causing Ultron to come about. Who knows? Could be. But there you go. That's the cast of Vision. And hopefully it's good. Most of the Marvel shows are terrible. There's only been a few that's sort of okay. The Loki show was kind of interesting. It got the most views. The Miss Marvel show is actually probably their best. That tells you something. Nobody saw it. But just for the purposes of what it was, after that, I guess the Hawkeye series, again, not great. But yeah. it seems a simple premise of an android questioning humanity and that sort of stuff, a plot like that, going up against Ultron. It seems like a no-brainer. You can't mess it up, but MCU will find a way. Oh, yes, they will. Yes, they will. So hopefully not, but I remain dubious until proven otherwise. Yes. Yes. All right. There we go for Vision. And what do we have? Oh, yeah. Fantastic Four. Okay. Yeah, we'll deal with this. And then this will be our final story. Yeah. And I'm sure he's like, thank God. There they are. The Fantastic Four. No, not Hyde. Show. There we go. And they are. Yeah. Fantastic Four movie reveals first look at Franklin Richards. He's the son of, Reed and Sue's. Reed and Sue's, he's their son. Yeah. So, thanks to official merchandise, we get a first look at Franklin Richards and the Fantastic Four first steps. The trailers tease that Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm is pregnant. So apparently, she has the baby in the movie. Well, thanks to the merch. We see, Sue protecting. Let's just go ahead and take a look. A look. Come on. There we go. And there he is. Oh, look at him. Yeah, maybe make sure you're actually seeing this. Yeah. So, omelet? And he's in an egg? Come on. So there's pretty good figurines. I guess they're just figurines and not action figures or whatever. Anyway, so there he is, and she's got him in a little force field thing, the invisible force field deal. There's the overall picture. There's Johnny and Ben. I guess that's Reed's foot. I don't know. I don't know why Superman's there. Wow, a crossover with Superman and wow, man, he didn't see that coming, huh? No. Yeah. So there you go. There's little baby Franklin. And so he's in the movie. They do mention the pregnancy, but there's probably some time jumps throughout the narrative of it. I think there's going to be other Fantastic Four villains in it before they get to Galactus and all that. So they'll, quite a few things like that will occur in the film. And they'll announce her pregnancy. She has the baby, and then the baby's, a toddler, So anyway, who is Franklin Richards? Well, in the Marvel Comics, Franklin Richards is the son of Reed Richards and Sue Storm of the Fantastic Four. Yeah, those two. Born with extraordinary powers. Yeah, he's practically God. Franklin is considered one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe. He possesses vast reality warping and time manipulating abilities, enabling him to reshape the universe itself, create pocket dimensions, and even rival cosmic entities like Galactus and the Celestials. So this might also play into Doctor Doom's plot and Secret Wars, because Franklin wasn't involved in any of those in the or not Secret Wars in the comics, but he does have that power level and might play a factor just for the power that he possesses. Earth X did a cool series. It was a cool series about a potential future of the Marvel Universe. And ultimately there was a sad story where Franklin, I guess his powers had driven him insane. And I guess the only way to save him was to convince him that he was Galactus, after apparently he had killed Galactus. And so it was left like that. But at the end of the series, Reed Richards says, I'm going to find him and I'm going to save him. And they, you just leave with the hope that he succeeded, Initially thought to be a mutant, Franklin was heavily involved with both the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, though it was later revealed that he only appeared to be a mutant due to his powers mimicking mutant genetics. This retcon removed him from the mutant population of Krakoa. Yeah, okay. Over the years, Franklin has played a crucial role in he is a genetic mutant. I mean, his parents had those superpowers. It did something to him. Anyway, he's played a crucial role in major Marvel storylines, such as Heroes Were Born, where he created an entire universe to save Earth's heroes. That's right. And Days of Future President, which explored his future self's immense power. Despite losing his powers in more recent stories, Franklin remains a key legacy character in Marvel lore, often serving as a symbol of untapped potential and cosmic destiny. Franklin also has a sister in the comics, Valeria Richards, and she's one of the smartest characters in the Marvel Universe, even rivaling or surpassing her father in intellect. Unlike Franklin, who is known for his godlike powers, Valeria is known for her genius-level intelligence, tactical thinking, and scientific prowess. Yeah. So there we go. He'll make his appearance. I'm kind of surprised that it will be Franklin and that they just didn't say it was Valeria and forget about Franklin altogether because, hey, he's male, you know? Meanwhile, another leak of post-credit scene is creepy as hell for the Fantastic Four. Well, this could be spoiler territory. Well, Franklin was spoiler territory somewhat. So if you don't want to see the rest of this, I'll understand. So here we go. What's claimed to be the Fantastic Four post-credit scene has leaked online from a supposed test screening, and it sounds creepy and weird as hell. We already know the Fantastic Four ship enters the MCU via the Thunderbolts' New Avengers post-credit scene. And we also know they show up in Avengers Doomsday, thanks to the official cast reveal. So yeah, they survive. Yeah. According to a test screening, the Fantastic Four post-screen scene involves Sue Storm, Franklin Richards, and Dr. Doom. It's said the Fantastic Four post-credit scene shows Sue Storm reading something to her son, Franklin. She's pregnant in the movie, but apparently gives birth to him at some point. Sue then leaves the room for a moment. However, when she comes back, she finds that none other than Dr. Doom is sitting next to Franklin. Assumed to be a baby, yeah. The Fantastic Four post-credit scene description says Doom is holding his mask while wearing a hood. It's also claimed to look very comic accurate. Also, we don't get a look at his face. So it seems that Doom is looking upon the baby Franklin maskless with his disfigured face. Well, yeah, it's confirmed he has it. Well, I would assume so. It's also unknown if it's Robert Downey Jr. in the role of Doom. But a while back saw a mystery actor on the set of Fantastic Four with some fans guessing it was RTJ. Yeah, the first look, we've already seen it a few days ago. Fantastic Four set, yeah, I've seen that before. Recently, the test screening, it's claimed that most viewers found it just okay, and only a few called it great. Grace Randolph adds that viewers were vocal after seeing it and actually shouted at the end of the movie something like mid, which she says more than one exec took notice of. Okay. It also said fans thought Galactus stood out as the highlight, with every scene featuring him feeling truly epic. A recent rumor also offers emergency reshoots added in more Galactus. Well, if he's the breakout star, then that's what fans being disappointed with the short amount of Red Hulk was featured in Captain America Brave New World. Yeah, but that's not the main problem with that movie. It just was rather dull, you know. Regarding what the post-credit scene means, it's kind of weird that Sue leaves the room and finds some strange dude creepily hanging around. Yeah, but it's meant to be creepy. He's the villain and everything. So I don't know. That's creepy as hell. It's the kind of thing. And as I suspect, with the level of power that Franklin has, that's why Doom's interested in him. I think this whole thing leading up to Secret Wars is Doom's pursuit of omnipotence, which is what he achieved by stealing the power from the Beyonder in the original Secret Wars. So something of that nature. He might be collecting, superpower, omnipowered, if you will, beings. So if Doom is from the same Earth and universe, it begs the question, where is Doom then when Galactus attacks? He only decides to surface in the escape ship. Why does he wait to creep out of the shadows only after? The Fantastic Four post-credit scene leads directly into Avengers Doomsday, which has a new release. Yeah. So, yeah, he's talking more about stuff we already know. Dr. Doom appears in it. So the theory going here, it's one that I think would work better, is that Robert Downey Jr. is playing Tony Stark's body and that Dr. Doom stole it, which he has that ability. He's done it in the comics. And this scene, since you don't see his face in it and he's covered with the hood, could be the actual Dr. Doom, and that we don't see him like that. And if ever you do, it's a scarred face or whatever. And then to escape, he transmits his consciousness into Tony Stark. So their world could have a Tony Stark character in it, just an alternate universe version of it. And that's her. Or he goes to another alternate universe and steals that Tony Stark, whatever. And that's the deal. And, you know, that would fit in with it. The idea that he's just Victor Von Doom and he just happens to look like Tony Stark is kind of stupid, you know. But anyway, knowing Marvel, that's probably how they'll do this. And that's unfortunate. But anyway, that's not really I mean, it's meant to be creepy and scary. He's a threatening villain. There he is with her child. She's got to be absolutely horrified by finding him like that. But one wonders if they've already established within the Fantastic Four movie that they've had encounters with Dr. Doom. You just don't, you might hear him mentioned and whatnot, but you don't see him until that scene, that kind of thing. Because this is the only view of their world you get. It gets destroyed. They escape to the MCU, and there you go. Secret Wars rearranges everything. So if there is a Fantastic Four 2, it will be in that new MCU universe, which will probably end up being a combination of the others, but with revamped, recast X-Men and so on. So there you go. That's Fantastic Four with Franklin and Dr. Doom. Neat. And we reached the end. So thanks for watching and tuning in here. Okay, there's no comments. So, all right. I'll take off. And again, yes, these will be edited into their own videos, time permitting. And, add a few bells and whistles here and there. Don't know if I'll do it like this again, where I have the imagery live, because I'm probably going to want more of the control of that in the editorial process. But, we'll see. Maybe I'll really like it and we'll just keep it like that, So that's the deal. So again, thanks for watching me do this. And we'll do it again sometime soon. Have a good rest of your weekend.